World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Uranology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. This is Tony Rogers here, your host for Uranology, The Art of War. I hope all is well. We are getting close to my time of year, April, May, June, July, and all. Those are, I'm a Juneteenth baby, so I love it when it starts to warm up. And plus, so many things are starting to happen. The 51st Harlem Week, 51st annual, 51 years. Harlem Tourism Board is having a major conference on hospitality, tourism and hospitality on August the 21st. There's a lot of stuff. The Father's Day bike race is coming up. So you have to go to goharlem.org, which is the website for the Harlem Tourism Board, to begin to learn about all of those things. And of course, our trip to Ghana, December 2025, but it'll be December the 6th to the 14th. We're only taking 20 people. It's all inclusive for $4,000. And May 1st, it will start to go out there as far as people registering. So you might want to make a down payment or something like that because it's going to be a wonderful trip. And all inclusive, airfare, all of those things, food, festivals, passes to the festivals and all of that stuff. So those are some of the things that I want to just get out of the way so that I can get time to talk. I have two guests. One, my first guest is a young lady that's incredible. And I want to get her on because she has some other things that she has to do. But she was the first Disney princess, Black Disney princess, among many other incredible things that she's done in show business and on TV and all of those things. And she has a wonderful Women's History Month event coming up at Mittens this weekend. So I just wanted her to get on so that you can see this incredible lady. So please give a welcome to Ladawn Taylor.
Hello. Thank
Hey,
you, Tony.
hey, Princess, how you doing? What I didn't tell him is that she has one of the greatest accents, boy.
Thank you for the compliments.
No wonder Disney said we're gonna make you the princess. But tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you got to run because you're teaching and you're doing a number of things, but I wanted people to see you and, more importantly, to hear about your event that's coming up.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me this lovely day. I'm so happy to be here and to share. So I'm Ladawn Taylor. Hey, everybody. I was born in Oklahoma and I grew up in Houston, Texas. So performing arts is my background. Theater is my world. And now I produce and create as well as I still perform here in New York. And that's what brought me to New York is Broadway and shows. And little did I think or even know that I get involved in film and also producing and creating now. So yeah, I'm a Southern girl at heart. Houston, Texas is where I grew up. Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get into some of the Broadway stuff you've done and some of the TV stuff you've done, just give a little pinch of the experience you had as being selected to be the first Black princess and going around the world, China, Tokyo, and all representing Disney as the Black princess. Tell us just a little bit about what that's like.
I'm glad you asked, Tony. So after college, I actually moved to Orlando, Florida with a penny and a prayer, literally faith. Use the faith I was brought up with. I moved to Orlando, Florida, and I was never initially auditioning for the Black Princess, but I happened to audition for the singing contracts, thinking I would become a part of the union, which is a union that's created for actors that's trying to pursue Broadway. So when I auditioned, I got called back, which is like a second interview as an actress, as a singer for stage shows all over Disney globally. Walt Disney World, California, Orlando, Florida, Japan, Hong Kong. And so in the process of auditioning, I got the opportunity to be the first Black princess of Disney. And so when I say that is that they called me. And I never initially auditioned for Princess Tiana, but they were in need of a princess and a Black woman to play that role, to fill those incredible shoes. And I got that opportunity. And little did I know that me being able to be my Black Southern self would actually work. And so that was actually the best part, meaning I could be myself, because a lot of times in this industry, we always got to kind of shift ourselves or change just a little bit, which it's okay. But at the same time, we sometimes just want to be embraced and accepted as ourselves. But it was a perfect opportunity for me to represent for my beautiful Black people and for little girls that look just like me. So Disney gave me that opportunity to fill those shoes. And I had a fantastic journey from Walt Disney stages, parades, global stages. I got a chance to live in Hong Kong, China, where they barely even represent people of color, like Black people, chocolate Black people at that. But definitely I got a chance in Disneyland, Hong Kong, to open up a show as Princess Tiana. And I lived there in China for 2 years. And I went from Princess Tiana to Nala and the Lion King. And then I got a whole bunch of fun things from there. But Disney was an incredible platform for me.
You know, and you did the Lion King in Tokyo?
In Hong Kong. So from Princess Tiana to Nala and the Lion King. Okay. And then that inspired me to move to New York.
Now, what did you do in Tokyo?
And when I eventually moved to Tokyo, 2 years after leaving Hong Kong, I did a Broadway Christmas Wonderland show.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, completely different, but it was still like Asia. I'm like, dang, like Asia's calling me to something higher. Yeah.
Well, you know, the original West Africans were the ones who put China into play. The first dynasty were West Africans. That's a long story, but at any rate, the Broadway stuff came about, and tell us a little bit more about some of the singing. You were singing since you were 3, 4,
I was
6.
shy until I was about maybe 14 years old, honestly. I mean, I would say I was personally didn't really start singing out loud for my like family until I was about 7 years old. I was very afraid of my talent. And it didn't really come until I was set around individuals like me
Mhm.
from church choirs,
Right.
from gospel choirs in high school. So it was my senior year in high school was the first time I actually sang in
Mhm.
front of an audience. I was very shy for a long time.
Mhm.
Very shy.
Now you're around the world. Tell us, there's a lot of stuff we'll probably do since you're part of the Harlem Tourism Board. Now we'll have some more opportunities to let people know who you are and what you've done. But for now, with the time that you have, tell us about how you developed this project that's coming up, and what people will be looking to see
Hmm.
on
So
Diva thing you're doing.
yeah, of course. So I produced a show called The Iconic Divas of Their Time. And last year I did my first producing. Well, it's probably the third time I produced here in New York. But the biggest stages and the opportunity for me to put these shows on here in New York was I did a tribute to Whitney Houston. She is my all-time favorite, like diva, queen, vocal god. Basically, I feel like she vocally trained me. But I did an entire show for her last year, and then I did it 2 different times, 2 different big venues here in New York, one at the Green Room 42, and then one at 54 Below. And then I knew when that show was successful and I saw the pictures that my friends took of the show, I was inspired for the new year, 2025, to do a Diva celebration in March. So this year, I have a brand new cast, and we are all celebrating the iconic divas of their time. Whitney
Mhm.
Houston, Aretha Franklin, uh, who else? We have Shaka Khan, Tina Turner, Anita Baker, all the queens, even more. But that is going to be at the fabulous, famous to me, Mentions Playhouse here in Harlem on March 23rd. There's a 3 o'clock show and a 6:30 show. So please come out and support y'all. Please, it would mean so much to me, man. I put this incredible show together in the last 2.5 months, and I've been working with my singers really hard and myself, of course. And we're all together on one stage. Powerhouse is singing our heart out to celebrate us, to celebrate the women, you know?
I've seen some of the rehearsals, and it really looks interesting. And I went to your. Well, what really impressed me was, and I'm glad that met you before I heard that, because I would have been intimidated. I said, "Damn, she's really you." When I went on your site and went to the audio, and the song that you sung was and I forget the name of it. You have to, but it was a song in your audio component of your site. It was
I will always love you.
"I Will Always Love You."
Whitney Houston, my favorite, all
Boy,
time favorite.
boy, you are. Hopefully, I mean that you did a good job. That's all I got to
Thank
say.
you.
For those who are looking, we'll have that site up again so you can find out a little bit more about her. But go to audio and listen to that song. And if you do that, you're going to go to the show.
Wow, thank you. You know, so what he's referring to, guys, is that I did an audio recording of Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. You can find it on my website, LadawnLive.com. That's LadawnLive.com. You can find that audio. And again, some of the shows from the past, you can find it on my Instagram, LD Taylor 03. My blessings come in 3, so I got that 03 right there. But Ladawn Taylor, LD Taylor 03 is my IG. But yes, Whitney Houston.
And I said before, when you hear that, you'll understand why. I said, "Wow, this is a special lady here."
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what are some of the now? Once you do mittens, and how do people get tickets? How do they contact you if they want you to book you or things like that? What's your contact information?
My contact, it's you can email me. I don't know, how personal information we can get out there, but you can definitely go to Eventbrite and it's iconic divas of their time.
Mm-hmm.
And or you can just Google my name, Ladawn Taylor. You
Mm-hmm.
can find it through my name.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can call or just show up at Minton's. You can call Minton's. It's also on the website. And
Right.
it's Iconic Divas of Their Time, March 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's 2 shows. Even if you purchase on Eventbrite, tickets are really great price, by the way. We have them on sale
Yeah.
right now. But you can do brunch or dinner. When you purchase the tickets, you just show up to the show time of your choice. Either that's 3:30 or 3 o'clock or 6:30. Either time, you'll be getting a mouthful of incredible voices and songs of
And
myself
good
and so many divas
and
singing.
good food and for those who are listening from who may not know, Mittens uh, is really a cultural landmark in Harlem. Many of the matter of fact, on the back, if you know the painting on the back, that's Billie Holiday. Did you know that?
Yes.
She's
One of my
she's
favorites.
laying across the piano, but that's where all of the bebops, the Dizzy Gillespie's. I mean, it was a place where, and I'm glad that it has kept itself going. That whole block was interesting. So not
I'm
only
so
do you,
happy to be a part. I really
yeah,
am. I mean, like I hear
the
it's like a
history,
legendary place.
part of history. That's the whole piece of it. And tell us about. You have a couple of other shows, though. Tell us about
I
that.
do. So somehow, some way, this is just I told you, everything works for me in threes. All right. So the original location that I booked the show at had double booked the show. And I was out of a position like a venue to do the show. And
Mhm.
originally the show was supposed to be the 15th last weekend. That's how you met my family. But my family came to support me to come and see that show. But
Right.
when they had double booked the location, instead of me getting upset and like sitting down and whining about it, I was like, you know what? Let me send this pitch to all the other venues as well. Let me try Harlem too. I would love to stay here in Harlem. And literally, I sent the pitch out for my show to 4
Mhm.
different venues. All 4 venues said, yep. And then I said, okay, let me just pick these 2 for now. And then literally the original venue contacted me back and they said April 1st. And I was like, wow. So I ended up booking 3 different venues. So I'm starting off in Harlem. I have to. I live in Harlem for the people, by the people. All right. So that's March 23rd. 2 shows, one at 3 and then one at 6:30. And then March 29th in Hell's Kitchen at Don't Tell Mamas. That's the name of the venue. You can actually call the venue, Don't Tell Mamas, and you can get tickets at the door as well too. So so you got that. That's in Hell's Kitchen. And then the third location, last but not least, not going to be last, but it's going to be 54 Below. And that is in the city downtown here in New York. I'm
Used to
so
be the
excited.
club Studio 54.
Studio 54, y'all, which is also very iconic. Speaking of, Donna Summer used to sing there, and I
Yeah.
will be playing the role of Donna Summer again pretty soon. It should be a secret, but it's okay.
And besides Broadway, because I think that's what you're referring to,
Mhm.
you were on a number of TV shows. What are some of the shows?
What? I was featured in Godfather of Harlem, which is, I believe, a new seasons are about to be filming soon, or
Right.
maybe it's about to come out soon. I was featured
Jamal
there.
Max, Jamal, a friend of mine, he was doing some work with that, and James Smalls was on there.
Okay.
There are a couple of brothers who were giving them information about what Harlem was really about.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm glad. I have to look at I have to go back and see which part you were in so that I can,
Season 4, episode 4.
season 4
4,
episode.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
gotta
So
check that out.
Godfather of Harlem was one, and I really it was just nice to be there, man. I got to see Forrest Whitaker. I was right there with him. But yeah, so that's one of the shows, and then another one before they closed Orange is the New Black down. So before they took it off, I was featured in Orange is the New Black, and then also Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Okay.
Very classic, very classic. It was incredible. We filmed at Kaufman Studios in Astoria.
All right.
Yeah.
and you had a couple of things on Broadway. So now,
I
you
did. So The
said,
Lion King is one internationally. It's given me, like, again, Walt Disney World was an incredible platform for me. It gave me a lot of international life. And my Broadway world started internationally and then also around the world. And technically, you guys, if you're not really, aware and familiar with Broadway, it's really just the street, which in New York, now that I live here, I'm like, Broadway is everywhere in New York. What do they mean, Broadway? But it's specifically what, downtown New York, you know what I mean? In the center of New York. So, yeah. Broadway is really all the streets with all the shows and the theaters there. But I am still on my way to Broadway. But I've done Broadway shows, tours. I was in Donna Summer, and then I also was in The Lion King as Nala, and that's still a dream to be on Broadway here in New York to be in that show. But
well,
yeah,
time will make it happen because you
yeah.
have an interesting story. I know you got to run. But before you go, tell people how they could get to see you. And the site, if you go to LaDawnLive.com, go to audio and hear her do the Whitney song.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know that if you do that, you're going to want to come to one of these concerts.
Yes, please. Please come. It would mean so much to me. I would love the support. And just so, again, I'm from Houston, Texas. Like, I'm still living my wildest dreams. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing all of this. This is crazy. You know what I mean? But I'm so blessed that I'm able to have balance and that I'm actually able to do this. I'm living my true purpose. And I think anybody can do it.
Well, your ancestors put you in the right place. Harlem will straighten you out.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Amen.
So go to the site and your Instagram is what again?
My Instagram is LD Taylor 03, and I also have Ladiva.
Okay.
That's LADIVA.
Okay.
Taylor 3.
And
Ladiva. That's Instagram as well. Okay, so there's two. You can just type my name in, Ladawn Taylor, and both of them will pop up.
Right, and we can Google you, so we can find you now. We know where you are, girl. We know where you'll be on Sunday.
Look me up. Thank you. Support me. My name is right there, and my .com, or what is it? My website is there too. So LaDawnLive.com. Thank you.
Going to bring a couple of people on the 6:30 show, so.
Okay.
We'll be there. Save me a table.
Hey, I'm excited. Just, you can get there a little early if you want. Get you a good, nice table smack in the middle, but just expect a lot of moving parts. It's going to be incredible.
I can understand. I mean, I've been there too. Take care, my dear. Go back to school.
Thank you. I'm done now. I'm off.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes.
I'm glad that you had taken the time and you don't have to leave. I mean, I have another brother, if you have a minute, who is incredible. I mean, he has been able to develop an art form. I saw him there was an art show downtown, the Harlem Fashion Art Program, which is wonderful. Artists from around the globe. This brother has been able to use vinyl, pieces of vinyl, to make art. So much so that unless he tells you what it is, you would not know that they were all little pieces of vinyl.
That's incredible.
He's done incredible stuff. So before you run, if you got a minute, I want to introduce you to Tyrone McCollin.
Hey, Tyrone.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
I was with my vice president of the tourism board, Angel Ito. We were down at the fashion event to make some contacts and do some things, and I saw a lot of people, but it was one brother that I had passed it maybe one or two times, and then I stopped for something. I was trying to figure out, well, is that a painting or is that a photo or what was that? And when I got closer, that's when I began to understand that there was these teeny little piece of things put together to make art. And I figured I need to let people know what you do. So, Tyrone, how are you doing, brother?
I am just fine. I'm so glad to be here. It's so excited. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, again, and for people to be really aware, show us. You can see it right behind you. The art that you have done. How did you do that?
Well, it's called vinyl. It's a sign material. It's a material that sign painters used to cut the letters out of.
Uh-huh.
So I just to create my art. So I just cut them up in small pieces. The vinyl comes in different colors, in various colors, and so I decided to use it to make my art.
And when you look at his art, you would think that it could be just abstract, but he actually has pictures of people, and it just amazes me because I cannot even think about, being able to sit down and put something like that together. The patience that you would have to get the colors right. You see that stuff in the back of him to get all of that, to get to do all of that. With each one of those things are little pieces of
I'm
vinyl.
sold.
Look at that, little little
Wow.
little pieces of vinyl, and
Wow.
and he has so many different things like that, and nobody really can really appreciate it because we were talking. He was just saying that people were walking by, and when they stopped to understand what it really was, it became an issue. So his problem is that when you advertise his work, people really don't get the flavor of it. That's why I wanted to give a platform so that they can kind of use this as a way to let people know what it really is. And tell us how you're from Trinidad Tobago, is that
That's
correct? And so before anything else, if someone wanted to find out how you did this or how to do what you're doing, how would they be able to, one, contact you, and what information do you have that will share this new invention that you have?
okay. Well, first, my website is tuvimoart.com. That's my website. You can go there and you will see some of my work, and you'll be able to contact me. You can also call me on my phone,
Uh-huh.
347-737-4142. Those are my main two sites that you can contact me. Yes.
And how did you come to finding this gift?
Okay. First, I must say that my brain is too small to come to this conclusion. This, is this came directly from God. I don't have it in me to come up with this ingenious art form. It's all God. But it started, my church asked me to do a mosaic, a church called CWC, Community Worship Center. The pastor called me and asked me to do a mosaic. Now, honestly, I love art, but I never did mosaic in all my life. But I told him, I said, you know what? I'm going to try and get it done for you. And I went on YouTube, I researched, I got all my information. It was very painstaking, it was very difficult doing this mosaic. But eventually I did it. And I really fell in love with that ancient art style. And I decided to keep doing more mosaics. But after a while, it became so difficult for me because of the cutting of the tiles, and it was a lot of work involved. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked myself, how can I get the same effect with a material that is softer and less work? And it came to me, vinyl. And I began using vinyl instead of the tiles. And this is just a sample of how the vinyl looks. See?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like tiles from far, but it's really adhesive vinyl. So I started to use these pieces of vinyl. And at first they were very crude, rough, but the more I did it, the more refined it became until I came up with this art style behind me. and they are all pieces of vinyl. It's actually an optical illusion. All my works are optical illusions because what I'm doing, I am fooling your eye to think that it's actually fading in or blended in, but it's solid colors next to each other that looks as though it is fading in or it's shining or it's glowing or it has depth and perspective, but it's all solid colors.
And that's what amazes me because, and and I understand what you mean by the fact that this is something that's bigger than you, this gift, because to have the ability or the gift to take little pieces of vinyl to create shades and colors and be as exact in the fruit, the bananas, the faces of famous people, and all of those things. That's a tremendous gift. One that I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to allow for people to understand who you are, because if I pick up, or if just behind you now, the person who is looking at this and they see this design behind you, there's no way for them to really understand because you're a victim of your own creativity, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to understand that what they are seeing is small bits of pieces of vinyl placed in a way that gives you this illusion that it's just one thing, like a painting, or and that's incredible. And but as I said, it's so good that it doesn't, unless you have someone or you're able to educate people, and when you're doing things, those are the things that you have to find a way of doing, because what you are doing is incredible. Now you're a teacher, I understand, and you have a school that you work with. Tell us a little bit about your artwork and how you're helping your school and some of the things that might be necessary. You never know. Maybe you're on here to find somebody who has a big heart and want to help a school. Tell us a little about your school and what you're doing.
Yes, so I'm so glad you asked about my school. Sadly, a couple of weeks ago, the administrator called us and told us that this is the last day of the school. The school has been in existence for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And this 50-year mark is where she said, we cannot go on anymore because funds are not coming in, the kids are not coming because the charter schools most are taking all the kids people can afford. And it made us so sad that the teachers came together and said, listen, this is not going to happen. And we all decided to pull together to go and work extra hard to keep this school going. We are going out, we're going to give out flyers, we're going to have fundraising, and we are determined to let this school continue because we love this school. This school is a beacon in the New Lodge area, and we love this school.
What's the address? What's the name of the school? And if someone wants to reach you or contact you, because you're selling your art to help the school. So if someone wants to reach you to purchase a piece of your incredible work, they're at the same time helping you in your campaign to help the school. So how would people be able to reach you?
Okay. The name of the school is actually New Grace Center. It's on 650 Livonia Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207. Yes, mm-hmm. That's the zip code. New Grace Center.
They can find you, though, by going to your email.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Email again, tobimoart.com. Mm-hmm. I also have a book here that I wrote explaining how actually I teach the school, the kids in my school, how to do. They are the only kids in the whole wide world knows how to do Tuvimo because I start teaching them from kindergarten. to the
And
age of,
that's the name. That's the name of your art,
yes, to
Tavimo.
and not let me explain to you why I came up with this name. You
Mm-hmm.
see, the first name I came up with was Vimo, which is short for vinyl mosaic.
Right.
V for vinyl, VI vinyl, MO mosaic. But I
Mm-hmm.
looked on the internet and I saw that somebody had that same name. So I decided to put a T before it. So I came up with Tavimo.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyrone's vinyl mosaic.
Well, Tyrone, it's an incredible. Now, is what behind you there? That's a house, or is that a barn?
This is a house. This reminds me of where I grew up in my country.
Uh
This reminds me how I grew up in my country. We
huh.
grew up very poor, and I remember when I was growing up, these are the kind of houses that we lived. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have galvanized. Some of them were not properly taken care of. We have
Mm-hmm.
to go and fetch water outside. We have to wash our clothes, hang it on the line, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I feel this. I want to show people where I came from.
Well, I'm just looking, even from afar, the details as relates to the shading of the house, the grass, the trees, and how they interface with the sky and the clouds in the sky. And to understand that that's all little pieces of vinyl put together in order to allow for this illusion to take place is, and to be able to see that because I'm sure before you uh, start the work, you have to envision all of this stuff to get to understand the colors of vinyls that you have to put together in order to get the illusion. So that has to be just a gift that comes, because I don't know whether you can teach anybody to do that.
Um, one thing that I want to say about it also is that um, the these things came about by experiment. You see,
Mm-hmm.
when people are painting, they could go on get a book from the library, go on YouTube, and find out how to paint, how to get certain effects. I didn't have that luxury. I had to create my own technique to achieve my goals. And that made it even more interesting because I have a technique called overlapping. You might understand it, but I know I call it overlapping. I take small pieces, I put some closer together, and I put them further apart to achieve depth and perspective. So I have to have it all in my mind at the same time to get light and shading. So it's very difficult, but that's why I said that this didn't come from me.
And that's exactly right. This what you are describing in a gift, and we all have gifts. Some are more obvious than others. Every person who comes into this world is gifted with something, and will have a relationship. If you come on this side of the human experience, there's something that's gift. Some, however, have been, sometimes I don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse to see things that other people can't see, because so you don't understand your motivation all of the time, but have certain things, as I was mentioning to you before, that are like a communication, when everything is energy, everything vibrates. And your work, once you begin to understand it, even before you understand it, there's something about it that gives off a certain type of energy, which is why you can say it's spiritual, you can say it's God, but there's a higher form of frequency that comes out of your work, which is why of all of the people that I saw at the show, you were the one that I'm talking to now, because it's just incredible, the art form that you that you have. So Tyrone, again, we'll talk again. I'm sure whatever I can do to help you in what you're doing, I'll be glad to. All things happen for a reason. There's no such thing as a coincidence. So the fact of the matter, for me to see the things that you're doing, and I'm sure, and there are other things. So you you still make signs, and you still do other types of work. What are some of the other things that you do? I know that your art is your most focal point, but what are some of the other things that you do based on your talents?
Okay, well, I believe that God has given me two basic talents, and most artists play music. I
Mhm.
also play the guitar, the steel. I teach some kids how to play the steel orchestra, so we have a steel orchestra also. And
Mhm.
also, I also make signs for business places, awnings. I do some T-shirt printing. I do some hats, a little bit of everything. But my main baby is the art. But
Mhm.
as an artist, you cannot help but do other things because it just comes naturally. You know,
Mhm.
once an artist, you could actually play music most of the times, or you can actually do other types of art like t-shirt printing, drawing, whatever. But it comes with that naturally. But
Yeah, because you reach a
so
certain
wide,
frequency.
it's so wide that you cannot do all. So what do? You do a little bit of everything, but your main thing you have to keep that baby and just keep feeding that baby. And this is
Well,
my baby here. And that's one more time I want to say that I wanted to be an actual artist in terms of painting and stuff, but I wanted to be different. I said, I need to be different. I don't want to use paint. I need to do something different that will make people go, wow. And God has given it to me.
now, how long? When did you leave? It's Trinidad.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I always remember, when we used to travel. I was in a group called Blafrica Promotion, and we would go to Trinidad, and that's where you party, and then you would go to Tobago to rest up before you came home.
Yes.
You're in Trinidad or Tobago? Which?
Trinidad.
Okay.
Yes. That's where I was born and grew up. But when we say in Trinidad, we have to say Tobago also.
Yeah, well, that's that was how it was, and the carnivals. I know that they had stopped for a while based on the pandemic, but I think that they've started up again now.
Oh,
As
yes.
far as,
That's a culture. They
I
can't, they
mean,
can't.
if you know, I was blessed one year to go with friends to the carnival in Trinidad, and uh, it was amazing. You're up all night, no one sleeps.
No.
Everybody, everything stops. Everybody is. It's an amazing experience,
Yeah.
and again, I'm sure that that's where a lot of your creativity comes from. Do you have family members that are artists or people who have done things that's
Yes.
creative like you?
Yes, I have a cousin right now who's an artist in yes, artist, right? A young one, but the older ones, some of them started doing it, but they all stopped by the way. But I'm the only one who really continued.
Uh,
But I have a young one also. He's into art also, but the older folks started, but they all stopped eventually.
well, I'm glad that you got the calling, my friend. Again, tell us how people can reach you.
Yes. Again, my website is tobimoart.com.
Hmm.
On Instagram is artist McCollin.
Uh,
And my number is 347-737-4142.
well, again, Tyrone, I'm happy that I was been blessed to be in your orbit. Your work is good. We'll talk offline and talk more about how we might be able to help each other. And good luck to you. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much.
Okay. And again, we are getting ready to develop an interesting project through the Harlem Tourism Board. We received a grant to develop a Harlem Tourism and Hospitality Conference in August the 21st, the week right after Harlem Week. And we are looking to work with a target area of the greater Harlem area. There's a project that will kind of lead into the conference called A City Within a City. And that will be a way of looking at community boards 9, 10, 11, and 12 as a city within a city, because those 4 community boards of the greater Harlem area have a population that would allow for it to be considered the 26th largest city in the country. The population of that greater Harlem area is larger than Miami, larger than Atlanta. So when you look at it that way, this greater Harlem area, community boards 9, 10, 11, and 12, it's a city within a city. And the idea is to begin to develop marketing that actually talks about the different things within the city, which even if only the people within that captive area would go to places that they didn't go to and kind of interface with the various communities in 9, 10, 11, and 12, it could be an economic boom. But of course, people from Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, when they start to learn about the different things, kind of put into a package as the city without the city, and there'll be, T-shirts and all kinds of things like that. The other one will be Harlem, the birthplace of the Big Apple, as Brother Reggie Taylor, and he's been on the show, has a committee now that is working on developing products and marketing activities, just as New York City has used the Big Apple to market New York. Well, based on research, we know that the term and the focal of the Big Apple came out of Harlem. Duke Ellington made that a famous saying when he wrote a book, a dictionary on jive, which is now documented. So there's this movement to reclaim and using Harlem as the birthplace of the Big Apple, and their shirts and jewelry and all of those types of things that will be introduced to do exactly what New York did, but to make it in our city within a city. That's the target, but of course, it will be something that allows for anyone who is interested in the history to take place in it, with the restaurants and the colleges and the churches and everything in the greater Harlem area of the city within the city. So you'll start hearing a little bit more about this campaign and the conference and a number of other things that we're working on. If you are interested in being part of the Harlem Tourism Board, you can always go to goharlem.org to find out what's going on. And of course, as I said before, December 2025, the Cultural Oneness Festival in Ghana. We're opening up the packages April 1st, and we're only taking 20 people, first come, first serve. So you might only, and it's $4,000 complete, all of the passes, all the flights, all of those things in the North, predominantly, as well as in Accra. So Uh, Stay tuned. You'll get more information. And thanks for being with us. And don't forget Mittens, Ladawn Taylor, this weekend, the 23rd. Try to come down and see. Great show. Take care, and thanks, Matt and Jasmine and all of the Soul City group for providing the platform. This is Tony Rogers. See you next week, God willing. Take care. Bye.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Urbanology.